Today, by popular request, we are dipping our toe into the world of three-dimensional beaded crystal sun catchers. So if you want to make orb sun catchers / globe sun catchers like this one, I'm going to show you a simple tool you can use to make frames from macrame rings and brass wire. How do you make orb sun catcher frames? Well, I'm using 8-inch brass macrame rings. You can also use 6-inch or stainless steel rings, 24 gauge wire, and you need 2 to 5 rings and you just wire them all together. For tools, just chain nose pliers and wire cutters. And then this is a little box jig. It is a 8.5-inch by 8.5-inch by 2-inch box jig with these slots cut in and a hole in the middle, and that's pretty much it. So there you go. You could probably figure out how to do it yourself now. You don't have to wait till the end of the video. If you like that, go ahead and hit like on this video. Let me put it together for you right now. Okay, so here is the assembled ring jig. I'll show you how to put it together and how to wire wrap Suncatcher frames without them falling apart while you're making them. Now, if you've ever tried to assemble, an orb Suncatcher with 2 rings or even more, it might be pretty obvious right away how this might be helpful. But what's not obvious is how to fit the rings together and how to wire wrap them together. So we're going to cover that. Now, makers use jigs all the time to make things, but haven't seen one of these out there for sun catchers yet. So, go ahead and leave some comments if you have any ideas about what to do with them. The jig arrives in 6 pieces. There we go. This is the top. And you have these 4 pieces here. You notice that they fit together on the sides, and they fit together into here like a big jigsaw puzzle. And like a big jigsaw puzzle, it's important to assemble it on a flat surface. One other important thing is you notice that these fit together. So if they look the same, like this, these 2 look the same, put them on opposite sides. And these 2 look the same, put those on opposite sides. After that, it's pretty easy. You just press them down into place like that. These will probably work without glue, but I'm going to recommend that you definitely glue them. You can also tape it together or something like that, but the base being really solid is real important. The more solid your box base is, the better off the jig is, and we'll see more about that in a second. So once you got it down to this level, you can go ahead and glue it, and I know that crafters are going to want to fire up their glue gun. I would not recommend a glue gun. I'm going to use wood glue. You might also have one of the, the E6000 series. You can also use Mod Podge, contact cement, acrylic resin, white glue also will work in a pinch. Any one of those, crafter glues are going to work, but glue gun probably not so much. These are the surfaces here where you're going to want to put the wood, just right around the edge. There. And for the sides, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the tabs. The nice thing about wood glue is, and also PVA glue or the other glues, is that they will clean up with just water. So we're going to tilt it up, push it down. I'm going to go work my way around this way. And then set it down and push down each of the individual tabs to make sure it's nice and seated. I'm going to glue the lid on. So I'm just going to do the tabs on here. All right, there we go. Okay, same story. Okay. This one here is good to go already. We can start using it right away. Okay, just in case you didn't have glue or you don't want to glue it, we're going to show you how to tape it up with some duct tape. You want to tape the top down to the sides and then wrap it in a belt around everything else. I would say also, just to be on the safe side, go ahead and put another belt around the outside like this to hold that, because the holding it in like a belt this way is probably pretty important. And yes, I got this tape because it matches some of our stuff in the shop. A little sun, stars, and the clouds. And the moon, and the stars. Yeah, I'm a dork. Okay, so I like to put them in one at a time and work my way around the circle. Put one in like that. The next one we slide in, we put it in the ring over here, like so. Kind of roll it through a little bit. I'm not too worried about whether these stay in place or not right now. I'm just kind of assembling it a little bit at a time. I lift up a little bit, start rolling it in from this side over here, and then you can see that it lines up really well. Also roll that one in. And just sight it down directly from the top. I have to look at my camera here. Looks pretty dead on. Now we're just gonna go ahead and wrap that up. There's a couple other things you can do. If you look at these brass rings, you'll notice these little weld marks, and we're gonna try and keep these, like use these little notches to rub against each other and hold these rings in place. So first thing, I'm gonna drop this in like this, lift up a little bit, roll that one into place. Okay, so now they're in line. So we know that these are on the midway points. Next thing we're gonna look at is down here. You see it's a little bit lopsided. We know this is square up right in the middle here, so we're gonna adjust the bottom down there. So we're gonna scoot that bottom back and forth until it looks even right here and right here. And then, just this looks good too. All right, so that's where we would start. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tie off this end, and then we're gonna tie off the other side. Then we're gonna do another one just like it, and then we're gonna join those two together. Real quick, this is not the only way to do this. The cool thing about the jig is it kind of does some of the thinking for you almost by putting stuff in places. But there's all kinds of other things. Don't be limited by just the tool, right? You can do other stuff, fun stuff too. Beaded crystal sun catchers in general, just only been around like 14 years. Everything's never been done. So it's just exciting to share and to see ideas and to be inspired and to come up with new things to do. So if you're into making sun catchers, or you want to show your friend how to make a sun catcher, or you put on sun catcher workshops or show other people how to make sun catchers, go to town. If you can contribute or be inspired and give back to the idea pool, you can use all the ideas in this video and on this channel. You might want to check out some other videos. I was thinking the flowers, this might go really good, like have a little caged orb sun catcher with all the flowers that we have, with instructions on that to make on the channel. Anyway, if you have some ideas like that, maybe you want to see that, leave a comment or something down below. Okay, that's it. There's going to be some nice ways to wrap this, but if you just want to go crazy and wrap everything, weave it back and forth, and then wrap it like a belt around the middle of all those, these sideways wraps here are called fraps. So if you want to go ahead and just like ball it up, you can do that too. Okay, so this is the 6th or 7th one of these little knots I've tied. And I think this was working out pretty well. There's some things I want to address, and I think we have a good solution for them. But if you notice, the rings will slip back and forth this way. We need to stop that from spinning. The rings are a little flexy, a little more flexy than I'd like. They'll still work, but they have a little bit of slippy, a little bit of flexy, stupid, and and the knots are messy. So been working on that a little bit. Here's one with a little bit of a neater knot on it. Let's show up, yeah. That's good. I think these look nice, really sturdy. Tight ties. Yeah, let me know what you think. If we can get enough interest on this video, what I'll probably do is I'll post how to tie these really nice and make sure that the rings don't slip. That's it. Thanks, you guys. Quick shout out to my pal Kim, who asked for some help on a frame exactly like this orb one here. And it was easier to make a jig than it was to type out a reply. So also, I don't think Kim would have asked me if she hadn't been inspired herself, I believe, she didn't tell me this, by Veneer Creations over in the north of England, of all the cloudy places in the world. More power to you. Keep up the good work. And there's a link to her channel down below.